You know who has had the best returns, has beaten indexes more than hedge funds? US senators.
Oh yes! I know the banking system is flawed and it has failed. I know if I park my money in the banking system, I get absolutely nothing. If not, my money starts to disappear.
It is the ultimate shitcoin.
The bank?
Yeah. The ultimate shitcoin.
You can't buy a little piece of a 70,000 plot of land, but you can buy a piece of Bitcoin. And if you have enough, you can leverage that to get money and play the system. If you had to give a message to someone listening that hasn't bought crypto as yet, that's been on the fence, what would you say?
3, 2, 1, let's go!
Welcome to another episode of Full Gambit Podcast. We have a lot that we need to talk about. This is going to be a bit of an extended show. We might cut it up in half because, a lot of things to talk about. We got financial institutions buying and partnering with each other to form exchanges.
What else is new?
Bitcoin ETFs, bit trending. We have Zuckerberg versus Elon Musk cage match UFC, the biggest pay-per-view that will ever happen in life. We have a Russian coup that already got stomped. I don't know what happened. And RIP to the OpenSea 5 that need to learn how to spend their money properly, because $200,000 to die at the bottom of the sea looking at the Titanic is absolutely, with all the information now, it's tragic, but it's still stupid. And I want to dive into that a little bit. So we're going to have a little bit of everything. And because this is going to air possibly during our 50th anniversary of independence, the 50 years that was, I love my country, but another 50 years. What can we do to improve the Bahamas? Gentlemen, I'm going to treat this like this is Jeopardy. Which topic would you like to take first?
Crypto.
Yeah.
Always.
Obvious. Okay, crypto. I hate to be the one that I say, I told you so. But I did. And I have said it for months. I think I've been optimistic because I saw and I believe in greed. I believe in, if there is any chance of self-preservation, the snakes will always choose self-preservation. I believe that somebody within the inner circle, I don't think it's a majority, I do not think it's a majority, made a pivot, and that was the, what's the word? What happens when a snowball goes down the hill? It snowballs.
It snowballs, right?
Right?
It turns into a huge...
I told you Gary Gensler, the political appointee, stuck his neck out without guarantees, and them niggas was going to pivot on him. They put him out there like a clown. He did what he was supposed to do, attempted to kill crypto. But as Jerome Powell said before Congress a couple of sweet hours ago, it seems as though cryptocurrency is a resilient asset class.
Oh, definitely.
And from you put those two words together for me, from the money man, things is things.
I don't know nowhere.
Because Powell trumps Gensler, yelling ain't saying nothing. China is out in the cold, and BlackRock doesn't talk.
Yeah.
I ain't hear nothing from Gary since. CZ in the cool, he tweeting again. On Twitter, it's trending, bull market. Bitcoin is back over 30, and everybody has the ETF. Plus, BlackRock has partnered with Coinbase, which is a deadly combination. So,
Okay.
Theo, it's
All right.
yours. I dressed it up for you.
All right,
Tell me something that was wrong.
here's my take. Here's what I understand. Here's what I believe.
Okay.
I believe that Gensler was in on this, and the whole thing was staged. The whole idea was to hobble the exchanges that existed, keep regulatory clarity out of the picture, keep everything muddled, hold back crypto until Wall Street was ready, and now hand it to them.
Yeah.
EDX, bingo. Now we have a Wall Street crypto exchange. All these other crypto exchanges are going to go by the wayside. The old original boys, Binance.
Only for America.
Oh yeah, only for America, but watch how this thing grows. Watch how big this thing is going to get. So we have on the one hand, new boys in town who are taking over the crypto exchanges.
Mhm.
And we're going to continue to see the SEC continue to crush conventional crypto exchanges.
See,
Except-
now, hold on now.
Except
Even with them.
Coinbase will get a break because of BlackRock.
That's all they did, because at the end of the day, Binance US is already folded up and gone.
Yeah.
Right,
Crypto.com is out of the jurisdiction.
Like,
right.
So it was only Coinbase that was legitimately
yeah.
people were worried about. I don't think because Binance and Binance US are two separate entities.
Yeah.
So I don't think everybody was worried about Binance US. I don't think people give a fuck.
Like with
Correct.
Theo just brought up EDX. I was listening to the CEO talking today, and he was like, they're only planning to, for now, issue like 4 cryptos for now.
Legitimate.
Yeah,
They're
for now.
legitimizing Bitcoin, Ethereum, and they're going to anoint a particular altcoin, but that altcoin has to be already established,
I think it's
or
Bitcoin
they're
Cash.
going to start from scratch with something else.
I think it's Bitcoin Cash, and he mentioned that they are picking this because they are sure that these are quote unquote securities.
And what they use, another thing, these new exchanges are for those risk averse. I love the language and the lingo, and all I'm seeing is dollar signs, and I'm like, holy crypto, because it's going to be collateral now.
Like,
Very good. Now, we have that on the one hand, and then we have BlackRock with a spot ETF on the other hand.
Mm-hmm.
Now, BlackRock doesn't go into something half-heartedly
No.
or with the belief or possibility that it's not going to happen.
Right.
The SEC is going to grant a spot ETF.
I think they already did. I think I saw one was already granted. They didn't specify which.
Okay. So BlackRock is getting their...
Oh, we know that.
Yeah, they
Oh,
get
we
that.
knew
Okay.
that. We know that.
So
they was
now-
not gonna announce that they wasn't getting it.
we have a situation where 70% of Bitcoin is locked up.
Mhm.
It has been in wallets for some time now.
Yes.
Hasn't moved. Only 30% is on exchanges.
Right?
BlackRock is going to buy up all the Bitcoin it can get its hands on
Yes.
on the market.
Yes.
Right? It'll be OTC deals, so it doesn't drive the price up or drives it up minimally. What we're seeing now with the price going up is those who are front running, that.
So the last all-time high was 69,000-70,000. People are saying because of BlackRock, we're going to see the 100,000 all-time high. I believe that's possible.
Entirely possible.
I think in the short term it is. I think maybe by the halving, or halving, however you pronounce it,
Yeah.
I think it's quite.
I think when the halving comes, I think
So-
it's definitely gonna hit hard.
That is possible. And what we're going to see is that BlackRock will take a dominant position in terms of being the biggest whale that ever existed.
Oh.
I,
Okay.
see, all I'm hearing is Jay was right at money. That's all I hear. That's all I hear.
Don't get too excited, or rather be wary, because there are two things. Number one, BlackRock is going to treat its customers differently. Retail investors are going to be treated differently from institutional investors.
definitely.
Retail investors, and this is in the fine print, you're going to be able to buy a Bitcoin ETF, but when you sell, it becomes a taxable event because you get cashed out. Whereas the institutional investors will be allowed to self-custody. There will be a transfer and not a taxable event. So,
But that's because they're cashing out.
correct,
So,
but
that's fine.
retail,
That's
retail
stocks.
investors will not be allowed transfers.
They wouldn't be allowed to.
They will not be allowed to transfer into self-custody. That's number one. So only if you are
That sounds like a personal problem, though. That ain't got nothing to do with me, because I
No.
already self-custody mine.
very good. Here's the real problem. In the fine print, BlackRock has stated, should there ever be a fork going forward in the Bitcoin blockchain, that they get to choose which fork is the legitimate blockchain, Bitcoin going forward.
Yes.
And having the ESG background that BlackRock has, that's promoting and pushing ESG, we're going to see in the future a proof of stake Bitcoin fork. That is what I believe they're heading towards, and they're going to pick that as moving forward. This is the real Bitcoin as far as BlackRock is concerned and the ETF is concerned. That is something to give us great pause and great concern, because this is a way to kill Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Here we go.
That's scary right there.
Hold on. I'm not going to spend billions of dollars to kill my own money. I'm not the
Excuse
clown.
me.
I'm not the Joker from the Batman
Excuse
that
me.
burned the pile of cash. I'm not
Excuse
that.
me.
No,
Excuse me.
I can't.
Hold on.
No, Theo.
Bitcoin is a systemic threat to the traditional financial system.
And they're hijacking crypto now.
If I have to spend $1 trillion to kill it, fuck, that ain't nothing. I have 10 trillion already
Yeah.
under
BlackRock has-
investment.
BlackRock
Okay,
has like
let's-
We will spend more
Okay,
than that.
okay, let's say this. Let's say this. Think of, what is that movie with Tom Hanks and the guy where it is I am the captain now?
I know what you mean. I don't know the name. Not Captain Phillips.
That's what it is. Captain Phillips.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's the proper name. Maybe it's not. If it's not, just put the thing on the title.
Yeah.
What BlackRock, and I see the danger that you're saying. However, I think this is a proper hijacking. I think they want to control it. I don't think they want to kill it. I may be wrong, but if history serves me correct on this podcast, I'm right.
Depends on whether Bitcoin starts to show, it depends on the value that Bitcoin ultimately reaches. Because if it starts to show that it looks like a viable replacement as world reserve currency, then it may be slated for death. Because you cannot fuck with the US dollar.
I still think that, see, and this is where the problem is. I think we're getting closer to this resolution, but I still think that we're very far apart. I hear what you're saying and I understand exactly what you're saying, but my thing is this. If the financial institutions that are controlled by them, we know that they are. That's where the money is. The money is where the power is, right? And if the powers that be are saying or showing that, hey, we're adopting, we're trying to control, I don't think people give a fuck about the US dollar the way that we think that they do. Because at the end of the day, if the price is, just say it's $1 million of Bitcoin, right? And it becomes that legitimate storage of wealth that's easier to store than gold, that's easier to transfer, translate, all that stuff. The only people that I see legitimately having a problem with Bitcoin becoming that storage of wealth for your US dollar is probably like them old Rothschilds that could be dead in 10 years anyway.
No, but I think a lot of the institutions, like Theo said, like a lot of the institutions, ultimately, Bitcoin is almost like it's untamed.
It's hard cash.
Yeah, it's like untamed. And they want a way, like he said, they can control it. They'll find a way to put in like the ESG element to say this is better than what we already have. So y'all need to start using this as the real Bitcoin now.
The game plan is that we end up with central bank digital currencies. Bitcoin is...
How they ain't even into that?
Sorry?
That's what he said now.
You see Powell before Congress? He ain't into that.
Don't even believe anything that, what they flagging is different from what they doing. What they talking is different from what they doing.
That is true.
There is going to be a central bank digital currency, and there's going to be many of them, and the Bank of International Settlements has prepared a global what would you call it? A global standard. And Fed now adheres to that standard. And all the other cryptos become interoperable through this standard. And I've forgotten what the name of it is. It's Rosalind or something like that.
Yeah, I heard about Rosalind. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so that is the interface with, an entire command set, 33 commands, I believe, that you can use, including freeze, stop, many different commands, and it's all interoperable, and all of the central bank digital currencies will adhere to it and make it seamless to transfer funds from one
Currency
to the other, one central bank digital currency to the other, and all be tied in together, interoperable. The idea is that this is what will ultimately be the money that we use.
So they're not okay. So they want, based on what you're saying,
total control.
Not just total control, but they want to ensure that this system here is the system and it's not Bitcoin peer-to-peer.
Correct.
Okay. And I think they still will get it. There's no need to fight. There's no need for casualty.
But Bitcoin will still always be a threat to them.
I don't think so.
Look, they don't want cash. Cash will be phased out.
Eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't want Bitcoin because Bitcoin is a cash equivalent.
Bitcoin is more, to me, a storage wealth. It's gold. It's like barrel oil. It's diamonds. It's just a digital asset class. It's very hard. It's incorruptible, but it's
absolutely.
You hear what you just said, right?
It's a store value.
You hear what you just said, right?
incorruptible.
Yeah, that's the problem. Like,
I mean,
a lot of institutions and governments want something. I don't want to say corrupt, but something they can control.
But here's the thing: if you have and I am super naive, and optimistic with this aspect because for me, it's money and power, right? They go hand in hand. It is what it is. My thinking is this: if I have money, I diversify my money in art, collectibles, stocks, whatever, right? And now I have an opportunity to say, if I have $1 trillion fucking dollars, and I see this asset class coming up, thank you, Tsavoussis, right? And it's at $1 trillion now. and I say, all my research, all the smart people in the room, all the talking heads, all the experts say, within 20 years, this is going to be a 40, 50, 60 trillion dollar asset class, right? I'm going to say to myself, okay, cool. If this is going to be this now, I have this right now. How can I be the pilot in this stratosphere? How can I control it? How can I push it? What is going to push past? And here's why I think the thinking of controlling it is superseding destroying it. When they went on the Seek and Destroy, we were at war, right? It was fine until my enemy says, hey, I'm going to allow my banks, my people to trade it, hoard it, whatever, onboard it, whatever. And they had to say, hell no. We lost 5G to you. We losing stability and world reserve currency. BRIC is a threat. It's coming up because the difference isn't that much. I think it's what, $20 trillion?
Yeah, 20.
Between G7 to BRICS is about 20 trillion. And crypto would tip the scales because as it grows, then your BRICS, because you already have the natural resources, you have the population, now you have this asset class that is going to balloon and you're still settling in our US currency, and you could hide because our sanctions won't mean anything anymore because you could just put it in digital currency and we can't do nothing about it.
I remember what I told you online with the G7 and the BRICS.
So they had to pivot. They had to say, we can't allow you to have it. So we have, even though we hate it, we have to adopt it for now because the minute we try to kill it, it just going to move to the next bad bitch.
Fair enough. And that is the way to move forward, right? But ultimately, do not believe that BRICS is on board.
Oh, absolutely not. They're just doing it to piss. It's just a strategic maneuver, and it's brilliant.
It's a strategic maneuver.
It's brilliant.
Isn't BRICS meeting tomorrow to decide on a shared currency that is backed by gold?
That would be interesting.
They're coming out with a decision tomorrow, and whether it'll be backed by gold or not, I don't know. But they're meeting tomorrow on exactly that matter, to come out with their own currency and possibly have it backed by gold.
But remember what I told you online, like a lot of those G7 countries have investments and assets in those BRICS countries.
Yes, they do. That's the way they hide their money.
So it's almost like that visual wasn't even a proper representation of the amount of power that the BRICS actually have.
The issue with me is this, and I want the leaders of the BRIC nations to know this and the G7 countries. I personally don't give a fuck. Because at the end of the day, whatever asset class I could use to multiply my money, I will. I know the banking system is flawed and it has failed. I know if I park my money in the banking system, traditional banking system, I get absolutely nothing. If not, my money starts to disappear.
Yeah,
It is the ultimate shitcoin.
The bank?
Yeah. The ultimate shitcoin.
That's a big
Ultimate, absolutely.
So for me, my thing is this. As I get money, as I earn money, I look for asset classes to multiply or sustain that level. Even if it's moving by 0.5, that is better than -10.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And for me, as long as I can get it out when I need to settle, and I will settle in Bahamian dollars, I will settle in US dollars. If I have to settle in Canadian dollars, I will. If I have to go and do business in China, I will settle in whatever currency they tell me I need to settle in, because I ultimately will have the US dollar equivalent to settle in whatever currency. For me, it's all posturing. I don't care. I'm unplugged.
There are people who, for the last 5 or 6 years, have not used one fiat unit of currency anywhere. They live entirely in the crypto space. They deal in the crypto space, they settle in the crypto space, and that is becoming easier and easier as we go forward.
And here's the thing. I absolutely love it because I encourage it. If you have a bill with me in my production company, I take Ethereum, I take USDT, I take Bitcoin, I take SHIB. And here's the thing, because I know ultimately when I want to go to the food store, and our food stores aren't there yet, but I could say, okay, I'm going to liquidate this and I'm going to have this budget and spend, and it is what it is. Yeah. So, yeah, the peer-to-peer isn't there yet, and I love the fact that you trust that you could share whatever, USDT, whatever, Bitcoin, whatever, peer-to-peer. But at the end of the day, I will settle it whatever I need to because the asset class allows me to do that. And I think if everybody just gets off of their soapbox, get off of their agenda, they need to realize there's enough fucking money for everybody.
See, and that's a lot of people.
That is not. If you take a look at the behavior of the world over the last 5-10 years, you will see that the working class and the lower classes are systematically being decimated.
They are.
And the upper classes are the ones who are making money hand over fist. Their wealth has tripled and quadrupled.
But the reason why?
Years.
Why?
Why? Because it's tilted in their favor.
No.
It's called
no.
Absolutely.
No.
Yeah, of course.
No, not in okay. Yes. Our financial system is jaded. Yes, some people have advantages over other people. That is true. However, the issue with the middle class, the not so middle class, and poor folk, they are risk averse and they get trapped in the tunnel vision of survival. That's just facts.
That and also information.
And they don't.
Access.
Oh, bullshit now.
You don't think so? You don't
In
think
the last decade and a half, everybody has access to the same fucking information.
But
It's execution. People have had head starts, of course. So if you have a billionaire and they were billionaires from the 1920s and they're trillionaires now, of course they have a head start. Of course they're going to stomp on you. Of course when you buy Charmin, it's going to enrich them and whatever the case may be. However, you, with your 2 cents, have the opportunity to create something. And as someone that had absolutely fucking nothing 7 to 10 years ago, like zero, and was able to establish zero to what I have now, anything is fucking possible.
Totally. But what I'm saying to you is those closest to the money printer make the most money.
Sure, of course. I'm never going to deny.
And it's tipped in that way. So the banks, the hedge funds.
The banks are protected. All of them are protected.
Not only protected, but here's $1 trillion, go invest in the stock market. You're right next to the money printer. You receive the funds first, fresh, before inflation eats into them. By the time it exchanges hands 3, 4, 6, 8, 10 months later, it's worth a lot less than when it was first printed. What happens is those people have that advantage, okay, over the others. We don't get that kind of...
So for the middle class, people always say, they tag this and say it's not financial advice. And I think at this point in time, I don't give a fuck about what that is. You can come at me. The smart money is going at Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The smart money is going at Ethereum. And they will choose. You just have to wait to see which third one they choose. They won't go with the top 100. They won't go with the top 10. Follow the smart money and start to put the little money you have,
let me tell you something.
as little as it may be, in especially those two. And you will see your money grow and multiply. You may not hit a lick and have $1 million, but you might end up with 20, you might end up with 30, and you can multiply that and do something with it.
Let me tell you something about strategy. A guy I follow, he's a popular crypto influencer, and he has like a group, right? So they literally have a list of VCs, like venture capital firms, and they follow all the investments they make in the crypto and Web3 space.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, ABC Venture Capital invested X amount in Ripple. Okay, let's see what's going on there. Ripple might, because the thing is, when you follow smart money, when you follow institutions, they already did the research. Not to say you shouldn't do your own research, but a lot of them are not going to throw 100 million behind a project or $1 billion behind a project without some sort of due diligence or without some idea of where this thing is going to go in the future. And like you mentioned, like BlackRock owns like 99.9% of everything out here. So if you see anything that BlackRock is putting their name behind and they're investing a lot of money behind, because they have like 10 trillion in assets or something like that, you know, like, okay, they already pretty much know where they're doing. Like you say, just follow them, see what all they're looking for, and just go from there.
Yeah. Easy copy and paste.
They make the markets.
Yeah.
When they move, that influences the market.
Of course.
You know who has had the best returns, has beaten the indexes more than hedge funds? US senators.
Yes. They have access to all information. They know when it passes. They know when it's going to go in. Of course.
Nancy Pelosi's a beast.
And they have different programs that follow what they call, I think they call it the unusual whale.
Okay.
So they have a list of these senators. So whenever they sell off or they buy, they flag everybody to buy and follow these people. Yeah. So, I mean, here's the thing. We know that the system is corrupt. We know people would access the information. And I'm not even going to look into this camera and lie to you. If I fucking had access to the information too, I would be making some money. Now, would I take more of my people along with it? Of course I will. So, Jay, are you saying that you would cheat with the system? Of fucking course. Because I want money. If you want to be broke, that's on you.
Yeah. Listen,
if you think it's happy and that's make you happy, great.
What about conflict of interest? What about ethics?
I would rather.
What ethics, Theo?
What about the moral high ground?
What fucking moral high ground?
Let me say something. I would rather cheat and get rich.
Let me tell you something.
Than follow the rules and be broke. Because at the end of the day, if I'm rich, I can help more people.
Exactly. I can do more for regular people with money than being fucking broke. You know how much scholarships I could give? You know how many kids I could help feed? Come on, man.
That was a joke. That was a joke. Just letting y'all know that was a joke.
Well, I ain't fucking joking. I am not. If I find an exploit, I will do it. Because I fundamentally know that the only way that you make money in this current system, fuck working hard.
Yeah.
You have to be at the right place, at the right time, and you have to have balls.
You have to be a risk taker, and it has to be a calculated risk.
Yes.
And you gotta go.
You have to have nerves of steel. Even with this crypto thing and getting in where we got in. You got in way before me.
Yeah.
You got in way before me. And I feel like I was stressed the fuck out and I just got in 2 years ago. Right? You had to have balls. You had to be committed. You had to understand what it is that you were doing, what your ultimate goal was, because there were some high highs and there were some low lows.
Look, I would not be surprised to see at least a 5x
From Bitcoin?
from Bitcoin
And within what time?
within a year.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think for my portfolio, that's a really good bunks.
Yeah.
From what and here's the thing. People look at it and they'll Google and go on CoinMarketCap and they'll see, okay, well, it's $30,000 I missed the bus. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Right now, you could go on whatever exchange it is that you want to go on, Binance, Crypto.com, Coinbase. You could buy a piece You could transfer it over to your wallet, and you could hold on it. And you could continue to do that. You could literally, and Crypto.com, this is why I love Crypto.com for this. For my Bahamian people listening out there. You could take your little Commonwealth bank card. You could say, okay, I get paid weekly. Before my mommy get this $50, let me set up, buy $50 worth of Bitcoin every week as long as I'm a job. And guess what? That is going to pay more dividends for you than any fucking thing you could do. ASU, fucking NIB, because NIB is a fucking, we could talk with that shit in a minute. We could talk with that because they doing ass, but that's a different show. Let's close out this one because I'm going to have shorter shows because I need to stretch this out.
Mm-hmm.
Final crypto thoughts. Lamont.
All right. What I've been noticing, like we talked about, y'all guys talked about the last show with CZ and Binance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if a lot of people have been noticing this. I'm sure you all notice, but Binance is losing market share. And that's where, like at the beginning of the year, they had like 60-something% of market share. When you talk about like centralized exchanges, now they're trading at like 40% of centralized exchanges. They went from like 8% US to like 1.5%. Like they're basically kicked out of the US now.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said earlier, they don't need the US.
Oh.
But in a weird way, I like that because that's where you don't have so much control, but it looks like the control is just shifting more to the quote-unquote powers that be now. Because instead of CZ holding all the cards now, you have these suits on Wall Street who basically right now.
Listen, I don't want to be racist because I know black people can. It's unfortunate that CZ is Asian and he is Chinese, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how they're going to paint him. They continuously, when you do the rumor mill against him, they attack him there.
Yeah.
They look at him as a monopoly, a greedy monopoly that shut down the good white man.
So
he's dangerous.
Yeah.
So you don't want a crypto terrorist. And that's, if I was going up against him, that's what I would label him as, a crypto terrorist. You need your money to be safe. We can't trust him. Go with the institution that's been here hundreds of years, and you can trust that will never fail because guess what? Uncle Sam will never let us fail.
So now there's a lot more institutional money. There's a lot more institutional money than retail money.
Of course.
Oh, definitely.
Right? And that institutional money is going EDX.
Yes, they need a vehicle, and they need a vehicle that they can trust.
Binance will become small by comparison.
definitely.
Yes.
I think we're seeing the beginning of the end of traditional crypto exchanges.
I still give them the 20-year mark that you gave them in the last show.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why. Because the level of adoption that the retail investor is looking for from decentralized to centralized, those exchanges aren't going to do it anymore. So here's what you need to brace yourself for. If you have all your shit coins with Coinbase,
Yeah,
they fucking gone.
yeah.
Okay?
Absolutely.
They're going to get delisted. Okay? Because Coinbase, in order to keep that partnership, they're going to have to legitimize. You wonder why Robinhood isn't fucking paying attention to your petitions for your shit coins and your Pepe? It'll give a fuck. Okay? Because they know what they gotta do. So CZ is going to be the king of decentralized to centralized. Mm-hmm. He will continue to get that degenerate meme coin retail investor that's looking to fucking 1,000x. It is going to piss the big boys off, but at the end of the day, their money will be bigger than CZ money any fucking way.
Correct.
And they're going to be some lottery winners, and they're going to be like, oh, your guys ain't serious. But everybody's going to win in the short term because as those heavyweights come into the space, the important thing that everybody needs to look at, Bitcoin and some others that will follow, but Bitcoin is going to be first, will be looked at as an asset, which ultimately will be used as collateral. And you're going to have more access to certain things. Because you can't buy a little piece of a 70,000 plot of land, but you can buy a piece of Bitcoin.
Right.
And if you have enough, you could leverage that, if you have common sense, to get money and play the system.
A lot of people, it was surprising to me that a lot of people don't realize that you don't need you don't have to buy a full Bitcoin to buy a Bitcoin.
No, a lot of people don't realize. I didn't realize that until a while ago.
A lot of people, they was like, oh, it's 30,000. I can't afford it no more. It's like, you could pay $30. Like,
I literally, my best friend who just walked out the room, she used to buy it in pieces, and I always be like, "No, you can't."
yeah.
Until I tried it, and I was like, "Oh, fuck! Okay, I could have been dollar cost averaging this a
That's
long
it.
time ago."
That's it.
Which is why I told you, that's why I like Crypto.com.
Right.
It's very simple, very easy, very straightforward. As long as that $50, $20 is on your account, on your debit card that's affiliated with them, they will take it. It will be there. After you get X amount, you take your little Ethereum, you transfer it over to your hot wallet. If you don't have a cold storage wallet, that's fine. Make sure your hot wallet isn't attached to any emails. Don't hit any links. It is what it is.
That's it.
So now the only caveat is the actual macroeconomics, that background that we may be facing. With the Fed continuing to raise interest rates in July.
They're not going to raise. They said it's going to stay at this level for a long time.
I heard that there might be 2 more raises before, like.
You think so?
Yeah.
Like
Fuck.
2
Yeah.
more.
Are they really trying to break something?
They are trying to break something.
They
Quarter
are
point
trying to break.
raises.
They are trying to break
Because
something.
here's the thing. The level that it's raised to right now obviously is working. I think it would be a great idea just to take a pause, right? You don't have to drop the rates. Everybody seems to be eating the pie right now. It is what it is. Let it pause. You're at 4% now. I think that's what the last CPI was at, right? 4. It dropped from 5 to 4.
Correct.
Let's see what the next set of data is before you raise it. If it continues to drop, that means you are at a peak level and it's working. Just pause. There's no rush to get to 2. What you want me to do by fucking Christmas?
There is
Huh? What? What is the rush?
Me too, like Christmas.
that is the possibility that we may still face headwinds economically going forward until the Fed pivots for real, for true.
But then Jerome has said, and he's very hawkish. And one thing I like about Jerome, he doesn't mince his words, and he's very intentional, but about his tone, and I could respect that because I think that's perfect communication, right? He doesn't allow his words to be misinterpreted. As we know in this era of communication, you could pull all type of interpretation from certain things. If he say one thing, this is what it is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but what happened when he talked about inflation being transitory?
oh, we know
And
that
then-
was bullshit.
Right.
You know it was
So,
bullshit.
You cannot trust a thing that comes out of his mouth.
Hold on now. You hear what did I say anything about fucking trust? I didn't say anything about trust. I said, hey, when he speaks, he articulates well. I could take it for what it is. He's been very intentional about what he says. So, for me,
Unless he lied to you the same way he lied to all the regional banks
Oh, man.
and told them inflation was transitory, don't worry, keep on buying bonds. And what happened? T-bills, they ended up with a big hole in their balance sheet. Now
Okay.
they're in deep shit.
now listen to me.
You can't trust a word that comes
Listen
out
to
of
me.
that man's mouth.
Listen to me.
Nothing.
If I know what inflation really is, right?
Mhm.
I know how it works. I'm supposed to be a financial stalwart, expert, whatever. How the fuck? You could tell me it's transitory and you set the rates.
You trusted.
I know the setup.
You trusted the Fed.
No, sir.
You trusted
No,
the
sir.
Fed.
No, sir.
You believed what came out of his mouth.
The only thing I believe is this. I believe if because I didn't listen to the last speech. I only caught the congressman where he said that crypto and Bitcoin has been a resilient asset class, and he made it seem that he's been watching it for a while and all this other stuff. So I saw that part. I didn't see his last address after the CPI data. But I know if he had left the door open for a possible hike, as you said, then that is already baked into the market. Because what we've seen is, as he's made those speeches, if it said he's going to continue to raise until XYZ, and he's kept on with that mark, and you think we're going to pause, if they're going to pause, they can pause. If they can raise, it's already baked in. So the market won't give a fuck. And it'll continue to march on.
Unless something breaks. Unless something breaks.
They already break the bank. They already break the bank.
No. Cascade failure. I'm talking about,
Listen.
you know,
What? Unemployment?
unemployment coming. That might come. That has to come
What type
later.
of unemployment? Because at the end of the day, we realize that if it's in an industry that is favored for political reasons, they won't allow it to fail. Plus, you have to understand what they're doing right now. The fact that they have raised the rates the way that they have, and they only had that little ripple in the banking industry that they seem to have patched, not fixed, patched. If they pause right now, based on the job numbers that have been coming out, CPI data continues to go down, they could coast, they could keep Biden upright with a straight rock, going out there, not talking very much and going back in, and they may be able to skate through the electoral process.
Yeah.
Because that's all this is.
True. Very true. At the same time,
Don't break it.
don't break it.
Just don't break it. That's all I could. That's the only advice I could give them, and it seems that they listen to this show, so I don't know. Because everything that we've talked about has come to pass.
Correct.
Jerome must be on his burner, but you still
Yeah.
Jerome must know that your boys over here know what's up, because
Well, it's common sense, right?
it is. And that's all this is. It's common sense conversation about practical things that govern our lives. And if you apply, we make things complicated. Us as humans and our agendas make things more complicated than they are. If you have something that's worked, this may be the first time in history that they're able to get to 2% without breaking something. And the only thing I ask them to do is pause. Just pause. It may not hurt another 2.5, but if you squeak past on that 2.5 and it goes down from 4 to say maybe 3.2, 3.5, I would say pause. Because now you're jumping points. You're going from 5 to 4. That's a big drop.
Yeah, that's a big drop.
So if your rates are that high and you're getting those drops, just wait it out. By September, you will be in the clear.
There is the
And
election.
give us a break for Christmas.
There is the election coming up.
Yes.
So there's a lot in the favor of pause, seeing as Biden needs all the help he can get.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. I want to close out this particular show on crypto, right? We're almost at the 40-minute mark. If you had to give a message to someone listening that hasn't bought crypto as yet, that's been on the fence, what would you say?
I would say get in now. I would say this is an excellent opportunity to buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, those two for sure. Look at Aave. Aave's up like 18%.
Mm.
You know, there's a whole bunch of good altcoins that are doing extremely well. And so, Kava. So, there, do your research, but a no-brainer is Bitcoin and Ethereum. Put something in now.
Mm.
You won't regret it a year from now.
Okay. What would you say?
I would say the same thing, but also understand this is a process. Don't just buy Bitcoin today. As far as like altcoins, if you're going to invest in altcoins, personally, I've been loading up on some Ripple. Now, the reason I've been doing that, this is not financial advice. The reason I've been doing that, because, you know, Jay looking at me kind of strange now, like Ripple, like, no, but
I guess you haven't heard about a little something called Fed down. But okay. I don't care what happens with the case. They can win the case. Nothing's going to happen with that. They have sidelined them long enough. Sorry to fudge your bag.
Yeah.
But I think they sidelined them long enough to sign by the project. And I think a lot has happened in other projects. And now that the Fed is in the game with what they have, I don't think it matters anymore.
They were supposed to sound low.
I think if they win, I think you will be able to still get like a 2, 3, 4, 5x baby, and you know where your exit point is.
Yeah.
So once you see that green, and then you move on to whatever else. But to say it's going to go
$20 or $100 and all that, no. Yeah, that was preposterous. Like I heard these weird numbers, and I was like, even like when you check.
Hopium.
That's like, even like when you check the market cap, like that's almost impossible, really. But I just was looking at that, and like just focus on the main ones. For now, just focus on Bitcoin if you're starting, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and remember this is an overnight thing. Have at least a year, to 5 year, investment horizon. You don't want to be in this what I can flip this now and all that. This is like that's meme coin talk right there. No, don't get into that right now.
Here's what I would say. I love what both of you said, and I would add this. Set up your weekly dollar cost averaging to what your tolerance level is, whether it be 20, 25, $50 a week, whatever, bi-weekly, however you get paid. Do it. Make sure it's there. Do it. Buy Bitcoin and don't sell it. Bitcoin is a hard asset vehicle that is going to appreciate and continue to appreciate the way land continues to appreciate. If you sell it, once it appreciates to a particular level, you will not be able to get it back.
Yeah.
Use it as the asset class, use it as collateral to leverage yourself and your family to what it is that you need, and then use that cash to do whatever you want to do. Yeah. It is a process. It takes time. There will be downs because you still have Gary Gensler around. Mm-hmm. There will be ups because there are good CPI data returns and there's institutional money on the horizon and it's coming in. But it's a process. There are ups and downs. There's greens. There's red. Take your time. Have your tolerance, and you could be okay.
Buy Bitcoin. Never sell it.